Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of Business Beyond the Game. I'm your host, Eric Jackson, and we're joined by a special guest and businesswoman, Olympic gold medalist, bicycle kick expert, and Angel FC Ford's Sydney Leroux. Sydney, obviously you've put together a pretty decorated career, and during it you've accumulated some sponsorship deals, from Nike to Johnson and Johnson, and recently you've partnered with Philips Sonicare. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that and what you look for, right, when it comes to
Yeah.
brand partnerships?
I think
Besides
my
the money, right? Money's always nice, right? But
I think my partnership with Philips Sonicare is speaks to me because first of all, I love the messaging. I love the fact that, we're finding 2 minutes outside of our toothbrushing routine where we're just finding time for ourselves. So I partnered with Philips Sonicare to help motivate people to make the most of their wellness routines as well as my own. Um, and I think short and long term results. I mean, for me, I the balance of being a soccer player and being a mom and being involved in business stuff like this, I think it's a lot. And I think we don't have all of the time in the world, but I think breaking things up into smaller little time periods like 2 minutes has really worked for me. So that's what I really have enjoyed working with Philips Sonicare.
yeah, how much just intentionality and just purpose, part of what you're looking for, right? When a brand comes up to you to do a partnership or a campaign.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I need it to speak to me, and I think that this was a perfect situation. I mean, even my kids, it's very important for everyone to brush their teeth. And in that 2 minutes, what can we do to make ourselves better, to make ourselves healthier? And so that really spoke to me, and I really have enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. And not just speaking on this deal, but just in general, Cindy, it seems like for so long, right, like athletes were sort of fine with being part of just the plug and play mindset for sponsors, just kind of be here and do that. And now it seems like what do you just think of this evolution of athletes, being just more equitable partners and having more influence, in marketing campaigns and other execution?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think for a long time, people just see you as an athlete and just someone who plays soccer or plays basketball and I think that we're not just athletes. I think we all have something to give, and I think it's really cool to see all of these athletes branch out and do big brand deals and like see really what they're about. And I think you see that through other brands and like through, for Philips Sonicare, I'm like, no, this really speaks to me. I really want to motivate people. And even with Spotify through music and finding, just time for wellness. I think that that's a huge thing right now in the sports world is like wellness, mental health, like what are we doing for ourselves to make sure that we're on top of our game mentally, emotionally, physically. And I think it's been amazing to see the growth in like how we handle our well-being. We didn't do
Right,
that for the longest time because
right.
we're supposed to be on all the time. But I think people have been honest, athletes have been honest that it is hard and it is
Mhm.
tough. And what can we do to, you know, bring us back to center, bring us back to
Right.
like what makes us great.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I know Spotify's a part of this Philips deal. Now, were you a Spotify fan before this deal or Apple Music? This is a really important question, though.
Oh, I'm on Spotify. Yeah. I like Spotify. And I'm not just saying that because of the merge, but no, I'm a Spotify girl for sure.
Gotcha, gotcha. No, you're also a mother of two, Sydney. A different kind of soccer mom. Can we talk a little bit about just the business behind
Yeah.
athletes who are not just entrepreneurs but also mothers, right? Like, how has the balance
Yeah.
of mothership and playing career shaped the way you conduct business and your own personal brand?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think balancing my career and family while also trying to find time for myself is tough and it requires a lot of commitment. And I don't think it's possible to ever get it right. I think
Yeah.
that you just try the best you can to figure it out. And again, going back to the Philips Sonicare deal, I think that the 2 minutes is huge, because not only can you brush your teeth in 2 minutes, but I think you can find time for yourself in those 2 minutes just to be like, okay, here I am. Like, let me just figure myself out for a bit. And sometimes I do that driving to training. Sometimes I do that driving to take the kids to school or to pick them up. But I think it's really important to find time to like seek out ways to find
Yeah.
smaller time frames to like get yourself going again.
Yeah, no, that's great. Definitely. Do you feel personally like a responsibility or an importance to show that athletes don't have to choose between, starting a family or their playing career?
Yeah, I think and I hope that I've done that. I feel like the league, the NWSL, looks a lot different now than it did when I gave birth to Cassius 7 years ago. And I hope that I can continue to push for mothers in all aspects, everywhere in the workforce. I think that we do need more. And I don't think we have to choose. I think it's been amazing for me to continue to chase my dreams while my kids watch me. I think that that has been probably my favorite part of my career, and I've done a lot. But I think seeing my kids come out and run to me on the field after a game is, I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great for sure. And obviously you're in LA now with Angel FC. You've played on different clubs, right? So I'm just curious. Obviously, Angel FC was top of our evaluations, for the
Yeah.
NWSL, and
Yeah.
from a sponsorship standpoint, how helpful is it to be in a market like LA, playing for arguably the league's most popular team?
Yeah. I mean, we can say the league's most popular team. It's probably one of the most popular teams in the world when it comes to women's sports. And I think it's been amazing. Of course, we're in the market for it. I went to school at UCLA. I've seen the growth of soccer here in Los Angeles, and it's been unbelievable. I mean, we're selling out 22,000 people, every game. And I think that that's amazing. And it's taken a long time, but I think when you invest in women and you know what we're worth, you see it, because that's what we're seeing in Los Angeles, and we're seeing it throughout the league, but we're really seeing it in Los Angeles and San Diego. San Diego's
Yeah.
done well as well, but I think, yeah, investing in women's sports is huge.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. There's like you mentioned, there's like this unprecedented wave of investment in women's sports, including NWSL, and as someone who's been around, what's it just like to just see that, because you've been around, roughly a decade, right? So in the pro
Yeah.
ranks, so I'm just curious your thoughts to see what it was when you first came in to
um Oh my goodness. We were playing on high school fields.
Atlanta Beat. I'm an Atlanta guy, so
Okay. See, yeah. So it's so funny. I got drafted to the Atlanta Beat, and then of course the WPS folded, and then I went to Boston. And that was the first year of the NWSL, which was a long time ago. But people have no idea. I mean, of course, the ones that have been here from the beginning do, but um, I don't know if anyone thought that we would go from playing on high school fields with a couple hundred people to playing at BMO Stadium packed every single game with 22,000 people. It's been unbelievable. And being on TV, which I think we're still working through, but we need it to be a little bit better for sure. That's the TV part. But no, it's unbelievable how far the NWSL has come, how far women's soccer has come, how far women's sports has come in a decade. But yeah, I can definitely speak on the fact that busing to places
right.
and taking the cheapest flight, so you're in the back next to the toilet, and you're taking like 3 stops just to get to somewhere. Yeah, it's been quite a ride for sure.
Definitely. Came from a long way, still a long way to go, definitely for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Sydney, we're coming to the end, but I want to wrap on this one, and you've had an extensive career playing abroad. and also with the national team here in the States. Just overall, what would you say is just the best business lesson you've learned during your career, or one of them at least?
Um, I think you kind of touched on it in the beginning, finding things that you are interested in and you want to support, and that finding brands who want to support you. And I think also I would like to say that I've always just been myself. And that is honest, and it's not always, my life isn't always this glitz and glamour, and it's crazy and it's chaotic and sometimes it's hard. And I think that, I always want to stay true to myself. So I think finding people and brands that kind of speak to you is really important.
No, I love that. Love that. Well, that brings us to the end of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Business Beyond the Game. And big thank you to Sydney for coming on the chat. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.